Hello, VOD people. We are here today. We just did some trivia. We did a Blooket. And now we are about to watch the brain teaser, The Basement Incident. This is the critically acclaimed video by Sonny Novus. Thank you, Vodka. That is the video right there, pinned to the top. I'll also be posting the original video in the VOD comments when this goes up on YouTube. I've heard so much good stuff about this. I know Sonny's been working on it for months and months. Came out 8 days ago. I've yet to watch it. I've only heard, all of the praise on Twitter. And yes, you should also, even just put it on in a browser on mute right now if you just want to watch it. But if you don't have it up, either have it on in the background now and you can watch me watching it, or go watch it after this. But I asked Sonny how he wanted me to handle this. I said, I usually post the VODs 24 hours after I stream them. If you don't want me to do that, I'll just not record this part and direct people to the video. He said, go ahead, put it up. But I'll also obviously be linking to the original. So I highly encourage you to go watch it, give it a view, give it a thumbs up. I'll go thumb it up on my actual account. I think I probably have already, but probably not my second channel. So I'll do it again. But yeah. Also, look at the recommends. Look at no misses here. Look at this. Evolution of Magic. This is, we're in incognito right now. Not signed in. You got another Sonny video. You got me. More Sonny. More me. You got Bio down here. we're crushing it. So gotta love the algorithm doing its job. The video I've heard, it's probably the highest effort cage video there is out there, especially in the theory sphere. And I'm not normally a theory guy. I tend to not really engage with that a ton, but Sonny is the diamond in the rough. I like to think so. It's Patters Reacts, or Patters Rex, but also that too. Patters Reacts and recommendations. So I guess we'll just we'll go full screen and we'll get into it. Let me know on the sound. I don't like being big brained. It's not normally that. It's that normally sometimes the theories aren't that big brained, but I think Sonny kind of is huge brain. So I'm excited. All right, this is like a fucking movie, so strap in. Here we go.
Fate.
Oh wait. Are there subtitles? No, they're not. That's fine. Well, there's
a fallacy, really. Always heaving down our spine. The final constant. The reward of time. The true end. Yet, why? Why is this pervasive, unbreakable rule always breaking? This pre-written script to be rewritten. Always.
He animated that, by the way. There's a ton of that in here.
A boy with silver hair emerges from what would have been so close, almost his coffin, his companion missing, yet he rebuilds the world all the same. The evil fairy rebirths in the presence of those who wouldn't so much as dare utter her name.
VHS footage type thing.
A boy with pink hair awakens in a radiant glade, but not a girl. No, she wasn't afforded such comfort. A blanket of cold, of damp and lightning, she slumbers still, much like the boy with blonde hair, amply harboring the very thing he feared, now to be in the clutches of someone he will grow to fear even more.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
A young man,
Hackers.
keyblade in hand, traverses his master's keyblade in hand, traverses keyblade, one who can finally bear this bird boy with black hair. Yes, it is revealed that Luxu, that brain, no, not that brain, his vessel, his apprentice, instructed to bear this burden eons over the switcheroo, his data backup, all to save his friends, sent his heart, took his heart. No name, he's gonna need a new name. What shall it be?
This is sick. This is like fucking Blair Witch, found footage shit. It's so cool. Clickable link. Thank you for the 17 months.
You
appreciate that.
Must be brain.
Please stop. Stop it. It's brain teaser. Look how fucking slick that was, What's up, guys? I'm already all in. I knew I was all in before I clicked the video, I'm all inner now. Completely all in. I'm as all-inist as you can get. And look, it's Charity! He made this. He did all this. He's so squishy. It's the arc. I'm getting like chills. It's making me nervous, you know? How long did this take? You know, like just to do this. Too long. Case 1, vessel.
Did Luxu possess Brain? The vessel theory goes as follows. Luxu takes Brain's body as a vessel, sending his heart into the future where his body is then recompleted. Luxu has the memories as he exists in that time, and Brain's hat acts as his medium. See, this theory is not only the one to be most widely assumed, it's actually the least plausible, which is why it's such a problem. It's so easy to garner this as truth because at the time of the finale's release, the hype of Luxu's ability to body hop, along with the rules given to us about the lifeboats, was so fresh in our minds that this was the most tangible explanation. But think about it for more than 5 minutes and it immediately starts falling to pieces. First of all, let's introduce the single most damning piece of counter-evidence we have: Luxu's secret reports. In Kingdom Hearts 3, Observations Excerpt 2 has everything
nice.
we need to know.
This looks sick.
Luckily, due to the tenses Luxu uses, we can surmise quite a number of details very precisely. At the time of writing this diary entry, Luxu already gave up his Keyblade. I bequeathed versus I will or must bequeath, but has yet to take his first vessel. And now, Keybladeless, I must depart this land. He not only recounts himself witnessing the Union leaders being sent off, but he also prefaces the entire paragraph with "amid the chaos," which undoubtedly suggests he passed on his Keyblade during the fall of Daybreak Town. Details and time frame are left surprisingly intact here. We will definitely be bouncing back to these reports a few times in this video.
Like within the past year, like for some reason, I don't know if it was a video I was working on or somebody else, but I was like in a VC talking about like the tense of that report and like when all of that was supposed to have been happening. So
now, there's
good to see that
absolutely
there's,
zero
like,
reason why Luxu
we're
would be
digging into that
wrong
here.
or even lying here. Why would someone lie in their own diary? He's already given up the Keyblade at this point, so the Master would obviously see who he gave it to and if he did give it to someone as instructed. Take a listen to what the Master has to say verbatim about Luxu's actions and his role.
You need to pass down that Keyblade to your apprentice and then him to his, so that my eye can see the future.
The Master, nonchalantly, narrows down our suspects quite a bit here. Again, he would obviously know who Luxu gives it to, so this is one hell of a Freudian slip. Besides, even though we don't know how Luxu's body hopping power works exactly, we do know that he somewhat cares about the Union leaders and the Dandelions, stressing over their fate, even being compared to a mother hen. If his power is just as predatory as Xehanort's, and I don't see why Luxu's would be any different, I don't think he'd ever want to rob a Union leader of their life like that. Also, why would he even need to take Brain's body in the first place? The entire Key saga begins during Luxu's teenage years, so based on the median of Kingdom Hearts' main character ages, he's most likely around 15 or 16 in back cover. It's quite easy to forget this, but the saga actually takes place in the span of 5 years, which would mean that Luxu in the ending of Union Cross could be, give or take, in his early 20s, which might not only explain the distinct difference in height here, I'll get to that soon, but gives Luxu an edge when it comes to being his superior, perhaps even master. Luxu is in his prime. Why would he ever need to take Brain's body to begin with? Brain doesn't even know who he's speaking to for a second, least of all what Luxu looks like, so it's not like Luxu's identity is at any sort of risk. Ask yourself these questions, and
That's
the
so
whole
true,
vessel theory
dude.
just doesn't work.
Yeah, because Because like the first instance of like Vessel, I guess we get like Riku as Anthem's Vessel in the first game, but that's like for an entirely different reason. But like Xehanort, I think we think of like the way we think of vessels, and Sonny's like deconstructing it here because Xehanort body hops into Terra because like he has to because he's old, right? Like his body is like 90 years old. He needs like a fresh body. But like Luxu doesn't like need to do that. The only reason like because we see Bragi in Dark Road, he's like, well, you know, they think I'm dead or whatever. So like he has to like probably find a new body or just not be seen. But like no one knows what Luxu looks like. Like Brain doesn't know what he looks like. So like the identity is not an issue. Neither is like the mortality of it all. So like yeah, doesn't really make sense that he would body hop here. Of course, it's entirely possible that Sonny is just thinking harder about this than the people making the games are. It's entirely possible, but it does make more sense the way that Sonny's putting it. So
It just doesn't.
sorry, I don't want to
So,
stop down like over and over.
With what we know, without a shadow of a doubt,
you could just be
Brain
ugly.
is definitely... Now, Brain is some...
Someone's trying to silence my boy. Oh no. I guess so, yeah. Wait, is this the music that David did? I know David did music for this. I don't know what it was, though. Oh, there you go. Shout out to David. Yo, my friends are all so fucking talented, dude. God damn it. David's so fucking rad. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Listen, we've all got our strengths. Mine is not this. Mine is not as visual. This is so cool. I wish I took some fucking 3D design classes in college, but never got quite this far. But this is just so fucking neat. Oh, you get Organization 13 in there. Fuck, David's so good, dude. Oh. Ah! I know that! I've seen that! Let's go, I'm canon! You see that? That's so fun. That! I'm like, there I am, Gary, there I am! That's fun. Case 2, Apprentice.
Is Brain Luxu's apprentice? Unlike theories such as the last one, this one is
so
by
cute.
far one of the most sensible.
Sorry,
Basic theories such as
self-involved for a sec. What did Sonny
is
say?
Brain Luxu's apprentice.
Okay.
Unlike theories such as the last one, this one is by far one of the most sensible. It basically answers every question the previous section presents you with. It justifies Luxu's reports to a T. It verifies the Master's Freudian slip, reinforces Luxu's caregiving antics. Brain is the only...
I have to wonder, I'm sure Sonny looked into this, but like the him to his thing, I wonder if that's like a translation thing, if it's like that in the original Japanese. I wouldn't be surprised if it translates perfectly. But there's always like, you always have to like look and parse through the text when it comes to little things like that between languages.
only Union leader who is seen interacting with Luxu during the fall of Daybreak Town and, well, his Brain with Luxu's coat and Keyblade and box. It all makes far too much sense, doesn't it? Wouldn't it just be so easy?
That would just suck if you're Brain and you have like this cool hat, and now you got to be Luxu's apprentice. You have to wear the coat. You can't keep the hat as well. That's so annoying. I'd be like, no, I like. Do you see this hat? It's the coolest hat in the series. I'm not gonna do your bullshit. Keep your box. But yeah, I guess if you think about that scene where everyone's like, oh, this is where Luxu possesses Brain. Doesn't really, like, he says, I think he says like, a shame you've only got one lifetime to live or something. So he could just be saying like, because everyone took that to mean like, oh, I'm gonna like body hop you, and like then you'll in essence live multiple lifetimes. But Brain could probably, if he's Luxu's apprentice, like, I don't know if this is where this is going or if I'm even making sense by saying this, but you would think if Brain is Luxu's apprentice, then he would like learn how to body hop. And learn how to live more than one lifetime. So it's not like it's a me or you thing. It's both of us can do it. I can teach you.
Of course not, because that's not how it ends. Immediately after this revelation, we are met with the scene which acts as our epilogue. Brain opens his eyes and is met by Mist, a desolate town,
and gotcha mechanics.
Sigurd,
an
elusive resident of what will then promptly be named Scala at Kylum, one that looks all too dissimilar from what we know. How strange. This will soon come to be known as the prerequisite for the title Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. Believe me, we'll be delving into this trailer. But if not for this very scene, this video would not exist. In fact, most Brain Luxu theories wouldn't, and it's because this is where things just don't add up. Under close inspection, Brain seems to be completely fine and unharmed physically, but he has no idea where he is. Sigurd enters, returning Brain his trusty hat, which many of us gather to be his medium. In quick summary, in order to time travel with the already well-established rules we have, you first must give up your physical form, becoming only a heart. This is exactly what the incomplete lifeboats do. They travel at the speed of light, essentially disintegrating the occupant's body so only the heart remains. This is one of the reasons why people believed in the vessel theory, but as we have already discussed, it really isn't likely. Secondly, there must be someone with memories of you existing in the time period you wish to travel to. This is exactly why Maleficent was able to reform in Kingdom Hearts 2, as the fairies, in a panic, begrudgingly recall her name at that moment. And last of all, there must be a medium, an object or belonging closely tied to the traveler, awaiting at their destination too.
For the record, not even fully related to the video, I think that's all really cool time travel mechanics. Like, I wish Dream Drop like didn't just like plop it all onto you at one time in the way that it did. But like these 3 bullet points, I think that's all so cool. I think it's like it's really like not something that you can do willy-nilly, and there's like a cost to it, and things have to be set up the right way. Like, I think it's really neat. So I'm not like down on time travel in general. I feel like in the past I've kind of like made it seem like I am, but I do think the rule set for it is kind of cool.
Object or belonging,
unless it's Timeless River, then none of this matters.
Timeless River is different. Awaiting at their destination too, a la Maleficent's robe. This is what the Master of Masters breaks down to darkness. His eye in the no-name Keyblade acts as his medium, and Luxu bears the memories. So the Book of Prophecies contains a waypoint, a map in which he can open any page, select any moment in time where both the Blade and Luxu are present, and just go there, free of charge. How lovely. But unlike anyone else, the Master may not follow Rule 1 here. He might know how to time travel without sojourning his heart, by his own methods, as by the time he disappears, Daybreak Town is still intact. But it's only when Maleficent uses the lifeboat when things start taking a dark turn. So how does this relate to Brain? Well, in Observations Excerpt 1, Luxu writes that these children are no masters. They haven't the means to transfer into other world lines so freely, so it stands to reason that Brain is not using the master's method. But Brain differs from his friends in that he absolutely remembers. Later in this scene, he remarks how there were others who traveled with him. He even fondly harkens back to Ephema. So not only is he aware of his situation, but it is completely fresh in his mind, as if it happened just moments ago, which hints that this Brain and the one we see conversing with Luxu are seemingly one in the same. This is so peculiar because, aside from Ephema, who we can gather did not time travel unfortunately, all the others, Loria, Malrena, Van, and possibly Scold, all form in the future with total amnesia. So what makes Brain the...
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, none of them remember. I guess I never really thought about
one
it
out.
because this brain scene is so short. I mean, we haven't seen him again since all of this, but obviously, like, we get a lot of time with Ven, Marluxia, and Larxene, and they are completely zero memory. So
Sigurd gave Brain his hat, meaning that he must have had possession of it before Brain materialized. And if we carry on the notion that this is his medium, we all of a sudden noticed that the other Union leaders never had one. They just kind of appeared. Maleficent reforms with her robe, and she still retains her memories. The Master has his eye, and he still retains his memories. Right, so totally reasonable to assume that mediums, the belongings of the traveler, are primarily responsible for resurging their memories. But this could mean that these golden rules for time travel aren't absolutes. They might just be safe guidelines for a true recompletion. If one
ugh, yeah, right, because God, yeah, so it's really not like, oh man, I like, it's fun, but it's also annoying. Like, it's like, oh, you think you know how it works, but it's really like, okay, well, you can do it, but it's like how, like, you can travel through a dark corridor without the code, but you might get yourself all fucked up, you know? So it's like, it depends on who's saying it. Like, if Yen Sid's reporting, then he might be like, oh yeah, you gotta have a medium, you gotta sacrifice your body, but he's just saying that because it's like the safe way to do it, you know? It's like, if you want to travel through a dark corridor, you gotta be wearing the coat, but you don't really have to wear the coat. If it's really quick, you can not wear the coat. You just might get fucked up by the darkness a little bit.
of these
Or
rules
if you're
can't be
Pete and
met,
get sad, then
the
you can
traveler
also
will
time travel.
suffer some consequences, but that may not necessarily mean they can't time travel altogether. Even though Maleficent reforms quite literally in her robe, it seems the Master isn't anywhere near close proximity of his eye, meaning that Brain didn't need to be close by to the hat. The item just needs to exist at that time. However, it's abundantly clear that neither Brain nor his companion
Why do I feel like it's gonna get sad? Like, cause how'd the hat get there? I guess I don't know.
chose their destination. If they aren't
Cause
still
there's so
asleep,
much focus on the Chirity with the hat.
they wake up in
I don't know.
absolute confusion. If the Master's waypoint is the Book of Prophecies, he can pinpoint with utmost accuracy where he'll end up, but this further suggests that this Brain is the same one who gave his book and Keyblade to Ephema. In fact, Sigurd affirms, just as I thought, in reaction to Brain's lack of certainty. It was decided that you would escape Daybreak Town and arrive here today. Once again solidifying that Brain traveled directly from the apocalypse. The word decided is often used interchangeably when addressing what has been written in the Book of Prophecies.
It's been
This
etched.
was all to be expected. How else could Sigurd and HQ know this if not for the Book of Prophecies Brain handed to Ephema all those years ago? The only caveat is that Brain was evidently glued to the Book of Prophecies, so wouldn't he read his fate and become aware of where he'd end up? Well, back when Ava handed him the book, he made this remark that he'd rather not read it if possible. Yet we see him enter the Master's room, prance up to his desk, open what seems to be a copy of the book which is already sitting there, and begin reading. It has the same cover and even some of the same pages. The others even
side's
single
always in
out
it.
his obsession with it. Huh. But he then takes it to the main table and rips a page out, the recipe for spirit pets. So, is it the Book of Prophecies? Is it just another book that conspicuously recycles the assets of the most pivotal plot device in the entire series?
I hope not.
Later
Sonny.
on,
I
when
would
the
hate
town
that.
begins to glitch, Brain says it's already begun, alluding that he knows what's coming. Huh. See, this is where the reuse of assets starts becoming a real problem in these mobile games. I mean, Ava gave Brain his role in a 4-year flashback, so he would speculatively be 10 or 11 years old in this scene, which is, quite frankly, an insane concept to think about. Yet his sprite is
Yeah,
left
that blows.
unchanged.
That
I'm not
blows, that's
keen
true.
on visual speculation when it comes to
I've always hated model shit in KH because, like, there's all that shit with like the young Xehanort model and like how old he is compared to like the Dark Road model and like how he appears in a BBS. It's all so annoying to me. So kudos to anybody who has the patience to like really speculate about the models and the inaccuracies for more than a minute, because it just pisses me off like the second I think about it.
Union
So.
Cross because of things like this. Honestly, if this is a copy of the Book of Prophecies Brain picks up and reads in the Master's room, that has huge implications. If it isn't, they messed up. So,
Yeah.
the original question, would Brain read where he ends up? Well, I suppose not. If this is the
True.
brain we all knew, he wouldn't have Master's Defender, giving heed to his possession of No Name? Well, maybe, but also maybe not, because in the Missing Link trailer, we see someone in a black coat holding No Name. This is not how Brain arrived here. So if this is Brain in the Badlands, box on hip, No Name in hand, then who on earth is this? Can't be him. Can it? Hold this thought, we'll come back to it. Regardless, back to Scala for a second. We can surmise that someone with memories of Brain exists in
true.
this version
I think
of Scala,
is he 35
beckoning
or
his
in
return.
FF10?
So who can it be?
I feel like he's 35.
Sadly, it seems that Ephemer is no longer with us. His statue, a reminder of his efforts, crafted with love and honor. His name literally...
This, again, not completely to do with the video, but, like, is Ephemer... He's not really dead, right? Like, is he where Ericus and Xehanort are? Maybe he's in the final world? Nah, probably not, but that's just sad. I'm not even, like, a big Ephemer guy because, you know, it's like I'm picking between 3 PNGs for who's going to be my favorite from Union Cross. Like, they're all the same thing. But, you know, that's sad to think that if he's actually, like, dead. But
translating
he was a good boy,
short-lived.
You know?
And if the statue is made in memory
Ephemer
of the
is
boy,
dead and
he
had sex.
left us quite young. Morbid, I know, I'm being dramatic. We don't really know his fate. I only doubt he's around at this point. I mean, if he's the ancestor of Xehanort, he had to have, you know. I won't really comment much on subject
We prognosticated on that before Sonny got to
being
it.
scolded at this point because it's been done to death. But it is peculiar that we don't witness her destination in the Union Cross finale. Yet we see Baby Not's quote-unquote mother looking suspiciously like Scold. Not exactly, but even in the words of Xehanort himself in the ending of Dark Road, there may be some relation. So perhaps her fate isn't as clear-cut as it seems. But let's not digress. Ava's fate and whereabouts are also undecided, but she's way more of a mystery than anyone right now. Perhaps their mystery is one and the same. I think we can safely rule out the other Union leaders. By process of elimination, our likely candidates dwindle to either the player's second life, who, judging by their fond recollections in Dark Road, does indeed remember their old allies, and Luxu, who should just be hanging around. If Luxu is the one who helps Brain time travel, perhaps they bargain some sort of agreement. In fact, further evidence points at Luxu being our prime suspect if we look at Laurium and Lorena. In 2 Final Mix, we see a cutscene between Xigbar and Zexion, taking place during the early schemes
That's
of
rad
the
of
organization.
so.
You and
Sorry,
Zaldin.
I gotta back this up a bit.
In 2 Final Mix, we see a cutscene between Xigbar and Zexion, taking place during the early schemes of the organization.
Anytime this cutscene comes up, I'm excited because it's so cool. Like,
You and Zaldin were tasked to
this.
recruit new members. Have you
Sick job.
forgotten, or were you procrastinating?
As if. I'm doing my job. I'll have you know, I
Mom or
found one
something.
just yesterday. Mar something. That puts the organization's count at 11.
Xigbar is obviously talking about Marluxia, the organization's 11th member, meaning that directly after this, Larxene, the 12th, would make her grand debut. I find it quite convenient how Luxu's latest and greatest vessel is the one to merely stumble upon these specific new recruits. It says to me that he was the one responsible for their recompletion. Sure.
and I just want to say, like, obviously Nomura, I mean, I would highly doubt in 2006 or 7 when that final mix scene was being made that that Nomura knew that, like, you know, Xigbar was going to end up being Luxu, and Luxu would have existed at the same time as the full versions of Marluxia and Larxene. But, like, what a happy coincidence that Xigbar says that in that scene, you know? Like, I'm sure Nomura knew that Xigbar had, like, you know, ulterior motives and like different machinations outside of the Xemnas plot, but that's super cool and convenient that that works out.
Maleficent may have memories of Laurium, say, but remember, she wasn't yet recompleted. She reformed in early KH2, whereas Marluxia was recruited sometime before Kingdom Hearts 1. Remember, Subject X, whom we assume to be Scold for now, is also about at this time, as young Lee and Isa are attempting to see her. And if my eyes do not deceive me, Marluxia and Larxene are in their mid-20s like Axel and Syx, meaning they had to have been recompleted
Does
around
Sonny say Syx like I did before Vodka yelled at me?
their mid-20s like Axel and Syx, meaning
He does.
they had
He
to
does.
have been recompleted
Shout out to
around
2021
this
Pat,
time,
who
too,
got yelled at for
so that
saying
they could
Syx.
age during the gap between BBS and Kingdom Hearts 1. But if Luxu only
Which,
interacted
in fairness, and I'll run this back because I've been yapping. In fairness, Axel says Syx like all the time. And then it was Vodka who was like, Pat, it's Syx. Syx. That's how everyone else says it. So I always have to consciously think about it before I say it.
meaning they had to have been recompleted around this time too, so that they could age during the gap between BBS and Kingdom Hearts 1. But if Luxu only interacted with Brain in Daybreak Town, how can he have memories of the others? Well, just because he didn't interact with them doesn't mean he wasn't watching from afar. Luxu had the means to freely dart from day-to Daybreak Town to the real one, and reflecting upon his sworn duty to keep vigil over the safety of the Union leaders, I'd wager he has succinct memories of all of them. But what about Xehanort? It's shown that he felt the memories of the player's second life in the forms of dreams, so do these dreams count as memories, even though they belong to someone else? God, I hope not. I won't even dip my toe in the notion that Ansem could be in ancient darkness. Let's just, for your sanity...
Yeah, please don't, because what? What is that? Wait.
I won't even dip my toe in the notion that Ansem could be in ancient darkness.
Ansem could be an ancient. He better fucking not be, Sonny. Again, like when Sonny brings up these things, he's like, "Is it possible that they reuse the assets for the really important book?" I'm like, I hope not, Sonny. Is it possible that Ansem is like an ancient primordial darkness? I really fucking sincerely hope not, Sonny, because I hate that. How would that even work? Yeah, I don't know.
Let's just, for your sanity and mine, just accept that Luxu is most likely who we're looking for here.
Okay.
Before moving forward, I'd like to say, for the
happy to do
record,
that.
I don't really think Sigurd is Luxu's current incarnation, solely judging by his manner of speech, and if this were Luxu, I don't see why he'd need to introduce Ephemer's statue to Brain, seeing as how he'd already know they were friends. I think Sigurd is just Sigurd. Not saying he couldn't be. Maybe Luxu is just an Oscar-worthy actor, but I think he's somewhere else. So, Brain's hat might be the medium, and Luxu...
I mean, Luxu probably is like a decent actor, right? Like he, he's kind of his own thing when we see him in back cover, and then, I don't know if he picked up... I always like to think that he picked up on the Master's personality, and that's why Xigbar is the way that he is. But, I do think Luxu has the propensity to be a good actor. Because Bragi obviously speaks differently and has like a different sort of vibe to him than either Luxu or Xigbar. But I would really prefer that Sigurd is not Luxu. That'd be annoying. MDgo, thank you for the 10 months. No worries at all. We're just watching this.
It makes sense so
Sonny
far.
Novus video.
But what about step 1? Sacrificing one's body to become just a heart. Well, the finale didn't really make it a secret to remind the audience, hey, there's still one pod left unaccounted for in the data world, but the last time we see Brain, he's in the real world with Luxu. When Ephemer and Scold arrive, no one is there to greet them, and they really don't have enough time to ponder before the entire room collapses, negating all hopes of transporting that one pod back into reality. But fear not. Brain is with his newfound master, right? No, he's in Scala. No, he's in the Badlands. Scala. No, no. All
no
right.
face.
Well, to me, I don't think forking over your most treasured possessions only to fade into the background of society really counts as training a worthy apprentice. Perhaps this is a common pitfall of taking words too literally. If Brain is the apprentice, which I do believe, Luxu had to have spent at least some amount of quality time with him, but reading this Brain's dialogue, it doesn't seem that way at all. No, something's wrong. They're hiding something from us. Scala. Yes. That must be it. Without a shadow of a doubt, Brain is definite.
Oh no, they silenced him again. Jerry deplatform Sonny, no. You son of a bitch. He was just gonna get down to the crux of it all. The cucks of it all, even. Fuck. Oh, T-Mac, thank you so much. Yeah, you're good. You're good, T-Mac. Yeah, if you're not fluent in the Union Cross, this might be a bit much for now. Definitely want to get caught up. But thank you so much for the 10 money. You have a great rest of your night. Thank you. Wait. Oh yeah, there it is again. We gotta look out for other Easter eggs. I wonder if there's other nods to people. I might have missed some already. It's a nice little teal though, T-Mac. If you haven't watched, if you haven't played or you know, fully enveloped yourself in Union Cross yet, I highly recommend checking out the demo dub of the game. It's in 2 parts. The second part came out not too long ago. Demo 279 on YouTube. I've had Sonny Novus brain Chirity for 24 minutes, but if anything happened to him, I'd kill everyone in this room and then myself. No! 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 Heavens! Chirity, no! Immediately something. I guess we're all gonna die. Case 3 Doppelganger. Oh, nice. The, what is it? The umlaut. Syax would be proud. Thought that. It's quiet. There's a radio in the box. Diegetic music. That's what's in the box. We just couldn't hear it until now. Did I say Daybreak? Skull like Kyla music. I don't know what I said. Keynote, unpin that one so we could keep the link to the video on the top. That's funny though. Oh, you're good. You're good. Is Sonny in the box? Let him out. I'm worried about what happened. Okay.
Just Luxu. No, I promise I'm not taking a step back, but when making these kinds of videos, I think it's one's obligation to leave no box unchecked. And
This should help.
if it's at any point possible...
Sonny, you're telling me this is just, they have same face? What's the... I know you're going to tell me in the past right now, but... Guides, thank you for gifting a sub to Sonny Novus. 7 gift subs late from Cage Guides. Thank you so much. God, I hope this isn't just Luxu.
It being improbable, we need to explore. I am not
explore.
putting a ring on this, but I'm also not afraid to at least attempt a breaking down of why this could or could not be. If this is the very same brain who saved his friends based on his memories and evocative phrasing, then who on earth is this? It's brain, right? Surely it has to be. See, it says so, right here. In Observations Excerpt 2, Luxu passed his Keyblade to one of the 5 Union leaders. I mean, look at the height difference. This is ridiculous. This scene is called Destinations because it literally depicts each destination of where the Union leaders end up.
Uh-oh. It's Brian from accounting?
You know, I was watching Back Cover the other day.
Uh-oh.
Man, I like Back Cover.
I do too.
I mean, it has its pacing issues here and there, sure, but
yeah, it's not perfect.
It's the small details I enjoy. Little peculiarities in the dialogue. Like here, for example. Near the beginning of the movie, Chirity states this fact.
Luxu, the first of the apprentices to be given their role, watched his companions from afar as they learned what it was that they were meant to do. Then, he disappeared.
Then, a little later, in Case of Envy, she says this.
I understand, but without you or Luxu, to form and maintain our own...
How long has Luxu been gone by the time these master meetings are happening? I don't know if that's what Sonny's going to get into, but I've always kind of wondered, like, how long has he been gone?
It's a little unnerving, to be honest.
Luxu is the first to up and leave, and the foretellers at this point are aware of this. Her hesitance even suggests that Luxu has some sort of underlying importance. Why would Luxu's absence be unnerving if he's just another fellow apprentice? Luxu is already...
And do they ever talk about how he doesn't have an animal outfit? Maybe Envy should be like, and by the way, while we're on the topic, how come he doesn't get to be like an iguana or some shit? How come he gets to just dress like you? I'd be curious about that.
Gone by the time the movie begins, even before the Master. Knowing this, it's especially curious how the remainder of his case is the very last one in the movie, and the subsequent final scene is Luxu in the Badlands. Luxu in the Badlands.
In the Badlands.
When Chirithy is monologuing, they proclaim that Luxu disappeared, as this very scene is taking place before the events of Back Cover. So, I ask of you,
no,
can we agree on one thing? This scene is the same as this scene. Same actions, same props, same pacing. He even looks at the Keyblade the same, but hang on. Yeah, big difference in the line here. Your versus my. Is this a deal breaker?
Oh, yeah, I kind of forgot about that.
You know what, maybe it is. There are multiple flashbacks throughout the Key Saga portraying exact, precise renditions of...
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I just recently typed up most of Union Cross. I had a lot of the original stuff that Damo did, but there were a couple of things that I typed up, and I saw, like, wow, they really flash back to Master and Luxu a ton, and it's like word for word, verbatim, same exact text. But that's all like within the same product, whereas here we have discrepancies between back cover and Union Cross, but it is something that if they want to do it, they have done it and they can do it, where it's the same exact language.
Back cover scenes with each and every word intact. So it would seem this is a pretty obvious blunder if it is one. But in the original Japanese version, the line is the same. See, it's interesting because I see most people accepting that these two scenes are the same regardless of what side of the fence you're on. But if it isn't the same scene, why would Chirithy's monologue in Back Cover describing Luxu's role and disappearance visually portray him in the Badlands with the box and the blade? If you're in agreement that these scenes are the same, then you inadvertently have to agree that either this is actually Brain in Back Cover with Max Mittelman's voice as a placeholder, or this is Luxu.
Wow, that sucks, Sonny. Could it be that Brain back travels? Is that a thing? Because that's tough. Because when does this scene take place in relation to, like, when Brain first shows up in Union Cross? Because I said this during the Blicket or at the beginning of this, like, admittedly, I am fuzzy on timeline stuff and just plot points of Union Cross in general, but, like, he's showing up here looking like Brain, and this is the same thing that we see in Back Cover. And if it's the same scene, then, as Sonny just said, then this would either have to be Luxu, or the cloak scene, it's Brain. When does this happen? Right, Brain shows up in the Keyblade Graveyard when all the new Union leaders meet. When is that happening in relation to everything? Like, this is where I feel like the video is almost wasted on me because I'm not up to date and, like, I don't have everything down to a T. But
okay, what am I saying? Luxu only went to the Badlands once in his life? Of course not, but what would you rather believe? These are the same scenes with a simple translation error, or they are two completely different scenes, Back Cover depicting Luxu accepting his role and vanishing from the action, and Union Cross depicting Brain doing the exact same movements with the exact same beats, only the camera carries on to show him unraveling his hood.
Well, here's the thing, right? Kingdom Hearts does shit like this. Like, it's okay. Like, these can be different scenes. They can be, even if it's the same, because the games do this. Like, let's think about, Terranor in BBS. He does the Ansem speech before Ansem ever does it. So there are, like, moments where it's, like, meant to be very, very similar to the point of, like, absurdity. Like, obviously this is more dramatic because it's, like, same props, same location, same hood, you know, same cloak. But like it is possible, and it is something that the games do where they, you know, my friends are my power. It's something that you know occurs independently throughout the games. Doesn't Ven say it? I mean, obviously Ven it, like becomes part of Sora, so there's like connective tissue there. But yeah, it could be, as Buffoon's saying in chat here, purposefully deceptive.
The exact same.
Which these games also do. They let us think for months that Xehanort was player. Like, they let us think that. So, they like to rope-a-dope us. This could just be another one of those.
Beats, only the camera carries on to show him unraveling his hood. Well, you know what I'd rather believe? I'd rather believe Lucia's reports, and if you've reached this far in the video, we've already singled out why Brain being Lucia's apprentice is indeed likely. So if we are to accept this as being the same cutscene, then surely the big twist...
Oh, Barty says, looking at the Japanese text, there wasn't any possessive verbiage at all. Oh. I never would have noticed that on my own. So you're saying when Sonny was comparing with the "May your heart be your guiding key" line, so there's no possessive text at all, so what would even be said there? Let's get Frosty in here too, because Frosty might know.
Is that it's actually Brain in the ending of back cover, right?
Context
It's
matters,
actually
yeah.
Brain with Luciu's voice, Max Mittelman as a placeholder. Is it?
And we
So-
we do video, or sorry, a voice placeholder shit, or just like, you know, sort of inconsistent things with the voices. Like, isn't David Gallagher young Xehanort in BBS? Someone is the not usual young Xehanort, which has been Diskin. I feel like in BBS it's someone else. David Gallagher in BBS, yeah, that happens as well. So this is not, you know, also completely new to Unicross. All right, well, we're trying to stop down and talk about it. That's the whole point of this.
6 years ago, my friend PJ did a KH Insider
PJ.
interview with Ray Chase,
Who just fucking
the
yelled
voice
at me.
behind the Master of Masters. It's a fun chat, lasts for about an hour, link in description, but they briefly speak about the audition process for these kinds of games. If many of you don't know, most of the top players in the Kingdom Hearts story, Sora and Roxas and characters alike, most of them are carried by actors whom were personally requested by Nomura to play those roles. But Ray had to audition for the Master. Yeah, a gargantuan character moving forward, he did his lines only mere months before the trailer for back cover hit the shelves. But the conversation naturally transitions and they talk about Luxu. Take a listen to this.
I think another really funny thing
It's
is
BJ.
that we were trying to figure out forever before the game came out, because we only heard his line once, who Luxu was. And it's like your BFF Max Mittelman.
That was the craziest, one of those crazy coincidences that you just go, wow, that's amazing.
How old are you here, PJ?
Did you
He
guys not know
was-
until it came out that that's what happened?
Oh no, we knew going into it because we
Younger.
would see each other at the
You
studio.
sound the
We were
same.
both going in for it or something. But that was, I know that he was requested for that. He didn't audition. They just brought him in.
Wow.
So wait. So Max Mittelman was requested. Okay. And Ray Chase had to audition for Master. Okay.
In Birth by Sleep, young Xehanort
7
makes a
years ago.
very brief appearance. He says
Which is crazy that the Masters has been a thing for that long ago.
one line.
This world
Oh, see?
is just too small.
Wow, that sounds so unlike. Like, I haven't heard that line in a good while. I gotta hear that again.
This world is just too small.
It's God. It sounds just so much like Riku.
This was before
Which, 'cause it
young
is, it's
Xehanort
David
had
Gallagher.
a voice actor. They got David Gallagher, the voice of Riku, to do this small fill. It's inoffensive, falls under contract, and is actually thematically appropriate as the game compares Riku to Xehanort.
Oh, sorry.
So he was just a
That's why
placeholder
PJ yelled
before
at me, 'cause I
Ben
spoiled it.
Diskin would hold the mantle.
This world is just too small.
They didn't have to pay for a whole new voice actor. But Ben also had to audition for young Xehanort. You can find this in multiple interviews and podcasts. It's actually a very interesting story. But isn't it interesting how both Ray Chase and Ben Diskin, two monumental pieces on the board, had to audition for these gigs?
I just want to say, not to break this up too much, but I really love, just as a presentation, like as a stylistic choice, how I think the filter here, like the VHS, like the recording filter on everything, makes it feel so connective, because we're looking at Union Cross scenes, we're looking at, you know, Unreal Engine shit, we're looking at live action stuff, we're looking at text. So I think Sonny putting this filter and everything makes it feel not so disjointed, and it really is an inspired choice, I think, because it doesn't feel like we're just, like, you know, switching between a bunch of different mediums and different styles over and over. This really keeps it feeling consistent.
You
Which I
think
think
that
is really
Nomura
cool.
would cherry pick such important roles? What does this mean? It could mean so many things, it could mean nothing at all, but why would they request Max Mittelman to voice a comparatively smaller role in this straight-to-console cutscene movie? Unless they have bigger plans for this voice.
And that's the thing that I always thought, I'm sure a bunch of people thought, because I remember talking to Kiwi about this, is like, wow, Max Millman, like, really got screwed, because, you know, he gets, like, a couple of lines in back cover, and then, you know, Luxu is Zigbar, so now it's James Patrick Stewart has the Luxu voice. So we've always wondered, like, you know, what else does Max Mittelman get to do, because he's fairly prolific, right? Like, he has a lot of other roles that are pretty well known. So it's weird to bring him in, to kind of discard him so easily. So I'm wondering where Sonny's going with that.
In the future. Okay, wait. If young Xehanort had a placeholder voice for one line, if this is actually a cheeky flash forward to Brain saying this one line, then surely Max is just the placeholder voice for Brain, right? That is absolutely a solid qualm. I would never denounce that. But you have to remember, the entire reason why the finale is confusing isn't just because we see two brains in two places, but because this scene is an exact parallel of Luxu's scene in back cover. I know, what, you think I like what I'm saying? I'm just highlighting odd discrepancies. I don't think it makes sense either. I'll explain my counter-arguments in a bit, but again, we are basing this entire argument on the premise that these two scenes are one in the same. Maybe that's the point. Maybe it's supposed to symbolize Brain adopting Luxu's role in a literal sense. I even vaguely remember this Mandela effect where people insisted that this is Brain's black hair flowing in the wind. But
Yeah, what? This was like, when was this? This was like, since I started YouTube, this was like a whole thing with the hair on Luxu here.
it's not. It is the physics
just a
on his
coat.
hood, and
Yeah.
data mining shows that both Luxu and the Master
It was
are
like a
just
Twitter thing, I
bald,
don't remember.
textureless meshes in back cover.
I feel like it was like 2020 or 21.
Where do we go from here? I think we
Maybe
need to
22,
take
I
a
don't know.
stern look at Luxu's timeline, between the beginning of back cover all the way through to the end of Union Cross.
Oh, Union Cross.
It all
ending,
began 5 years ago.
yeah. Which was when? I already forget when
We
that
see
happened.
a
Was that
collection
22?
of control room flashbacks of
21?
an inquisitive
21,
Luxu
right?
and a jestful Master. I won't go over everything, but it's here where we actually witness firsthand the well-meaning nature of Luxu, and the Master quite literally spells out the fate of the Dandelions. More importantly, it's clear that the Master has an incredibly close relationship with Luxu in particular, as even by this point, they're blatantly discussing events and roles that I doubt even the foretellers are aware of yet. Then, the extended case of Luxu scene. Luxu learns of his true purpose as the Master's apprentice. However, the Master was counting on this. Even though he tells Luxu not to get sentimental, he then mentions that his thoughts and his feelings are the key to everything, with the closing line outing Luxu as the traitor. But by that point, Luxu already leaves without saying a word. This was the case of Luxu. This happened 5 years before the finale, in the earliest stages of Key. Luxu, now with his Keyblade and box, makes his way to the desert as they need to stay out of sight. This lines in conjunction with what Chirithy says about his disappearance, with whom we should only assume to be
Let's say it
Luxu
does.
reciting the iconic phrase. The drama of back cover plays out, and Luxu is nowhere in sight. Gula's lost page tells of the traitor, the one who bears the sigil, possibly being the key super written on the box, but who knows. Just before the bells of war have been tolled, it's clear that Ava and Gula have been searching for Luxu, and Gula suspects if anyone knows where the Master is, it's him. But in this scene, Chirithy says, After the Master disappeared, so did Master Luxu, which kinda contradicts the order of events the Cherith said at the beginning of back cover, but I believe they both vanished within a relatively close time period, so I don't think it matters that much. As this is going on, we cut to the hilltop where Ava finally reunites with Luxu, just watching. Notice how the box is nowhere to be found. Well, I mean, obviously he's not going to be lugging it around everywhere he goes, so where did he put it? It's almost as if he went to the Badlands before
Just
any
behind
of this
that
happened.
bush, Sonny.
Anyway, we don't see the scene in its entirety, but going by what Zigbar claims in KH3, he probably told her about the whole Dark Vessel fandango, and maybe some other tidbits we don't quite know yet, much to Ava's dismay. They clash, and thus, so do the sound of the bells. War will rain down upon the children. We aren't sure what happened between Luxu and Ava that day, but since she's fighting fit during the war, it's safe to say that they reached some sort of consensus. During the war, Luxu is just beyond the horizon, eye gazing. And look, the box is by his side. Why this is the elusive intro to 0.2, I have no idea. But regardless, this is the last time.
Yeah. Why? I always like why, like 0.2's got nothing to do with this. This is it because of he doesn't say "May your heart be your guiding key" at the beginning, right? Because I know Mickey brings it back in the Dark World, but that would be like the only connective tissue there, unless I'm missing something obvious. But like, why the fuck is that part of 0.2?
Box until the Union cross.
I guess
finale.
because. Unless, because 0.2 was, like, originally supposed to be part of 3, wasn't it? Is that confirmed, or is that just, like... I always forget if that's, like, something that was, like, actually talked about in an official capacity. But, yeah, 0.2 is going to be KH3 Prologue. Then putting it there... They honestly should have cut it then. They should have put it at the beginning of 3 proper. But...
Everything from this point on is
Damo.
post-Keyblade War. Now, it tells us that Luxu and the Foretellers received their roles years before this point, which is insane considering how much can happen in that time. This is where most of the mystery stems and branches. But what do we know? Well, we know that Luxu interferes a lot. At this point, the ancient darkness has already begun moving in strides. Daybreak Town contorts under the weight of the ensuing chaos, and, of course, as instructed, he lies in wait. In the real Daybreak Town, Maleficent has just packed her bags and made her way to the future, using one of the lifeboats. The being of darkness wafts its way to the computer, but not before Luxu enters the fray, holding what seems to be a body cloaked in white, almost goading the darkness. Luxu opens another pod and rests the figure within, a seed of light, sown into the future, the true dandelion. We will, of course, be going over this. Luxu and Darkness bicker for a bit, trying to understand one another. Luxu draws his blade. Then you're the only one in my way, as you are in mine.
Yeah, I was just thinking that before.
And
by
fade
the
to
way,
black.
the evil fairy
Just like
from
Luxu's
Sleeping
battle
Beauty
with Ava,
is a
the
major
exact
player.
result of this encounter is never known. However, in the data world, something is awry. Elrena's Chirithy swears that a few days ago it spotted Strelitzia walking with someone in a black coat. The gang deduced that it must have been Luxu, and Brain comes to the striking realization that there must be data backups of every resident, including Strelitzia. If this is Luxu, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be, then did Luxu retrieve Strelitzia's data a few days ago only to return to the real world and place her body within the pod?
And
His
it gets to
connotation of the
Quadratum
true
somehow?
dandelion seems to make sense, seeing as how Strelitzia was the true intended Union leader. Although slightly different, they're both seen in white, and in the cover artwork for the game, we see, most likely, Luxu parallel to Laurium, holding the Bleeding Heart flower, synonymous with loss and grief. Strelitzia does appear to be the top pick. And finally, we arrive here, in the real world. Brain is readying to send off his remaining companions when Luxu confronts the boy. Reassuring of his plan, he commends his intelligence. It's a shame this lifetime is the only one you've got. That's the story of Luxu. With the Key Saga, solving mysteries is usually a case of deciphering evocative language, the reinforcement of plot mechanics and ideas, its characters coming to their own conclusions. Isn't it strange how in the midst of the crisis...
And you can't trust the characters. You can't trust what the characters say. you can like parse through the language. But you got when you get games like fucking Chain of Memories where everyone's wrong about what's happening, you're inclined to trust the characters because you spend time with them. You know, they're your buddies. But they're always like not always, but in that game they're always wrong. So you can't always take what they say at face value.
They go out of their way to ram into our skulls. Hey, remember the data backups? If it was actually Strelitzia's data Luxu sent to the future, not the original or real person, they may not have arrived at a real place. Well...
So Data Strelitzia isn't real, so she goes to a not real place in Quadratum, although it's... To us, it would be real, but to them, it's unreality. It's so complicated.
Hang on a second. Strelitzia in the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer literally describes Quadratum as an afterworld, so this surely must be the one who perished at the hands of darkness. Yet she has a Chirithy. Shouldn't she have full reign over whether she'll become a
wrong about
Dreamweaver
Dark
or
Riku
melt into another heart? As evident with other characters throughout the series, being struck down doesn't often equate to a vacation in a different reality. When Luxu is shown with her data backup, she is wearing the ghostly white post-death hood as shown in Laurium's dreams. And speaking of Laurium, he continues to hallucinate her presence.
Is Sonny going to bring up the Spectre Nobody from Chain of Memories?
Awfully uncanny to how Kairi appeared before Sora in KH1. And that was
KH1! You never talk about KH1 in these videos because it's so disconnected from all the crazy shit. It's Tarzan. Did you have Tarzan on your Sonny Novus brain teaser bingo card? I bet you didn't.
But refuge within Sora.
Gotta love it.
So is it insane to assume Strelitzia's heart may have found its way to Laurium, perhaps justifying Marluxia's final form?
Yeah, I got it. I did it. Wait, so I just wanted to roll back.
So is it insane to assume Strelitzia's heart may have found its way to Laurium, perhaps justifying Marluxia's final form?
Okay.
I know many of you have thought about this too, so I won't delve deeper than this. But characters have been struck down in Kingdom Hearts for years, but that doesn't mean they end up in Quadratum, in the distant future, mind you, knocking on the door to a boy who's only been there for 7 days. Let's quit grasping at straws and focus on a bigger piece of information we have. Luxu...
We don't know when Strelitzia got to Quadratum, if she went there immediately after being struck down, or if something happened in the interim between then and 3. I don't think the trailer indicates that how long she's been there. I mean, how long Sora's been there, but I don't believe we know how long Strelitzia's been there.
Is able to freely travel between the real and data versions of Daybreak Town without a lifeboat.
Yeah, and time flows differently. Sorry, I feel bad. I'm running this back. Time flows differently in all the worlds. Like, you know, shit that happens in like the Dark Road versions of the Disney worlds, like that's all happening like, you know, a couple of hours, like maybe a couple of days before their KH1 or 2 counterparts, I think.
Travel between the real and data versions of Daybreak Town without a lifeboat. So, if Elrena's Chirithy saw Luxu with Strelitzia's data, only to arrive at the real Daybreak Town and place the true Dandelion in a pod, then he must have the means to allow others to travel with him. But what does any of this have to add to the notion that this is Luxu? Did they want us to react with, uh-oh, he possessed brain? Or is it really, whoa, it's Luxu's face reveal?
Well, yeah, what they want and what they got are probably two different things, right? Like, to go back to the Dark Road or the player being Xehanort thing, like, did they want us to think that? Or did we jump to conclusions? Like, was that the intent for us to think the player was Xehanort? Because we all hated it, you know? We all hated that shit. Oh, Data... So wait, you're assuming the Strelitzian Quadratum is the one that died and not Data Strelitzia. Yeah, I guess, right? Because they're not one and the same. If there's a data backup of every Daybreak Town character, then the one that got sent to Quadratum could, if it is the data, then depends. Like, do you get is the data from after being killed or pre-killed? How often are the backups being made? You know, is it an autosave or what? David, I'm sure these words mean something.
However, I'm sorry. I just can't part ways with the evidence we have, which completely shatters this.
And good on you for
Unless
that,
we get
PJ.
extra caveats from future titles,
Good on you for having
there
hope.
really is no reason to suspend our belief in Luxu's reports. In Observations Excerpt 2, Luxu passed his Keyblade to one of the 5 Union leaders. I mean, look at the height difference! This is ridiculous! Luxu's sprite is just the Master's scaled down. Notice the trimmer fit overall, and the way the back dips in his idle animation. Then takes off his hood, but not before a subtle fade to black. Now, I totally believe this was just a cut to the new model, because it is one. They didn't just copy and paste Brain's head on Luxu's sprite, which would have been cheaper. This is a different sprite. The fit is a little baggier, enough to be noticeable, and we don't see beyond the arm here anymore. This has to be some damning counter-evidence, proving that one is indeed Luxu, but this is a flash-forward to Brain. Then, well, Dark Road happened. The seemingly way too obvious choice came to be.
Bragi, the guy who sounds like Braig and Brain?
Luxu all along. Bragi would fake his death at the hands of Boulder, thus donning the black coat again to keep up appearances. Notice how this is the classic Luxu sprite. Then... it appears when Luxu has his hood up, they just rescale the Master sprite. But when he has his hood down, it depicts his proportions more accurately. And if we are on the topic of proportions here, they remade the cutscene of Ven's introduction to the Land of Departure, and I had to squint here a little bit. I don't quite remember Terra being as short as Ventus. With all of these reusing and resizing of assets, perhaps it isn't as damning of a gauge as we once thought. There is one imperative difference when it comes to both of these reveals, because with Bragi, there is no fade to black. It's just camera panning. So could this suggest that the beginning of this is a callback to the original Luxu, but with a sneaky fade, we cut to
Ah.
Ugh, if Brain is a doppelganger of Luxu, or vice versa, do you even know what that means? The repercussions are ginormous. If Ericus is the assumed grandson of Brain, then by proxy, does that mean... Okay, look, this has been a really long section. It's a theory with some decent rabbit holes, but in my opinion, you just have to alleviate the burden of so much counter-evidence. Maybe this wasn't the right path. Even if there is some sort of connection, like Scold continuously being compared to Arbor, it might be nothing more than just mild oddities. We just don't have the necessary pieces of this puzzle to solve it. I just want to pin it on the board because, despite the contrary, I do think it's well deserving of its place. If Luxu says it's a shame this is the only life he has, well then, how do we give him another one? Well, there is one way. It's...
No! They deplatformed him again. Son of a bitch. Oh wait, yeah, the elevator crashed. What happened to our boy? Brain Chirity. No. No, wake up. I'm like the Jesse Pinkman, no! The end. Got you, Xehanort. Did somebody sabotage the elevator? Data backup, case 4. Do Dream Eaters have bones? Do they dream of electric bones?
The data backup theory goes as follows. One brain is the original. The other is Data.
Ah, son of a bitch.
One is Luxu's apprentice. The other got sent forward in time, where he was then recompleted. His hat serving as his medium explains why this brain doesn't have the hat. This is the absolute theory.
I talked about that. It's like, yeah, why would you agree to be a to be a apprentice or vessel if you can't keep the hat?
Does everything the apprentice theory does, but adds a new layer that seemingly closes the case. But if this is the case, the real question is, which one's which? Well, let's start.
He's
Here.
got notes.
How about we check back on Luxu's report, Observations Excerpt 1. Now, the Keyblade the Master entrusted to me must be bequeathed to another. Yet it seems that someone has pulled the old switcheroo. One of the 5 is an imposter. Someone the Master did not choose. They represent a virus in the program he so carefully wrote. See, you'd think this refers to Ventus, seeing as how he wasn't on the list of intended union leaders. It was Strelitzia. So, there's some contention between who Luxu is referring to here. Like, are the terms imposter and virus interchangeable? But, strangely enough, the Darklings are looking for the Chosen One. The one prophesied to carry darkness to the future as it was written. And that would be Ventus. Then you think back to Brain's exclamation that he wants to become the virus and overwrite the program that is this world's future. So is Brain the virus Luxu is referring to? But how can Brain be an imposter if he was on the list of intended union leaders? What is this old switcheroo really? Obviously it's Ven and Strelitzia, right? Well, the next paragraph in Luxu's reports reads, "The virus has begun a strange undertaking, a reckless plot to allow the 5 to escape into another world line." This is Brain's exact method of approach. Sure, Ven is the imposter technically, but he isn't devising any schemes. Further on in the report alludes to, quote-unquote, a certain lady of magic knowing more than he does, of course connoting to Maleficent, who was definitely no stranger to the ancient darkness. So, by extension, is the virus just darkness? See, I don't think so, because in the very next report, Luxu then writes about the darkness and addresses it by name specifically. It seems to me that Luxu was made aware of a virus and afflicted that name on one of the Union leaders. I don't see why he'd refer to darkness as a virus if he would know that Data Daybreak Town would be a cage to harbor and trap the darkness. If anything, darkness isn't a virus, it's a feature. He says someone has pulled the old switcheroo, not specifically accusing the Union leaders. Could be Ava, could be darkness, but remember, darkness wants the prophecy to come true to an extent. They want Ven, they want the expansion. Conclusively, it appears that Luxu even at this point has his sights set on Brain. If he's aware that there is an imposter, it implies that he knows who the intended Union leaders are. By the time Skuld and Ephema make it to the real world, Brain and Luxu are nowhere to be found. Some amount of time passes before they take the lifeboats again, at least a handful of minutes. This is because the lifeboat room is in the basement. Yet they make it all the way to the roof
structural
to witness a
representation
daybreak
of
town
the
ripe
building.
for destruction.
Sorry.
Before making the trip all the way back
I love that
down.
though. That's cute.
They take the lifeboats and the room crumbles completely. This is it for lifeboats in reality. But there is one more. In fact, Brain confirms this to Luxu that one friend didn't make it. I refuse to accept this final pod was left abandoned. Let's not forget that Brain's sworn duty is to remain here and awaken the dandelions in the data world. If they aren't here by the time Skuld and Ephema make it, then one can only assume that either Luxu bestowed Brain his mission and sent him on his merry way as he tampered with his data backup, or they went back to the data world. If Brain took the remaining pod from reality's side, I highly doubt they did so all before the other two arrived. So in my opinion, if we've already gathered that Luxu has the means to travel freely between the towns, naturally he might have traveled back to the data world with Brain. This is where the data backup comes in. If Luxu gained access to Strelitzia's data, he probably did so with Brain's. So what then happens to a pod that can't make it back to reality? This is where things begin to diverge. Brain and Sigurd bathed in the awe of Ephema's statue as Brain fondly reflects on his companion. This very statue is then shown to us in the Missing Link trailer, with the new player character. But thanks to the camera work,
Admiral.
we can see that this district is very close to the main tower of Scala ad Caelum, supposedly the same tower on the main island we visit in Remind, which we explore in commendable detail. So, where is
Show
it?
us poster, Sonny. Show us the
Where
cat
is
poster.
Ephemer's fountain?
Yeah, where
If
is it?
he is the original Keyblade Master,
They tore it
then
down.
surely his statue would be upkept and stand the test of time, being an imperative landmark.
They found Ephemer's tweets. They found what he said. Uh-oh. That's why they took it down.
Xehanort was born here.
Shit.
The player in their second life takes the baby and raises him on Destiny Islands until Xehanort is a teenager. Lovingly, they recite the stories of their previous life, the same life and connection Xehanort can feel. Without a doubt, you are the child of Destiny. Every descriptor is beat for beat Sora. When Xehanort is old enough, the Dark Road is calling. Ansem leads him to Scala, one that is completely transformed from his birth. Now, I've heard two speculations about this, first one being that time passes much differently between the two worlds. 14 years here could be hundreds or thousands in the other one. The second one, in my opinion, is way more plausible, and it's that Scala was reformed with the Master's Defender, just like Aqua transforms the Land of Departure to protect it. Ericus in BBS hints at this ancient technique.
Now that you are a master, there is one secret in particular you must know. Should anything happen to me, and you find the Legion of Darkness at our doorstep, I ask that you take my Keyblade and use it to lock this land away. Generations of Keyblade Masters have been charged with keeping this land safe. Light and darkness exist in balance here, and there are those who would abuse such neutral ground. This is why our predecessors devised a certain trick. Just use the key, and this land will be transformed.
And even looking at the crest of Gothic Scala, we can see 5 structural-like appendages coming from the top, pretty uncanny to the silhouette of Land of Departure. It makes you wonder if the Land of Departure might be the remains of
Fucking love that shit. That's so cool.
a world more familiar than we thought. If he was the intended child...
Because Land of Departure has always sucked, okay? So any connective tissue I can get between Land of Departure and anything that's not Castle Oblivion, like that part of it's cool. But like Land of Departure just like being a thing that's just like floating out there, and it's like, okay, like what, 3 people live here and what? Or 4 people, I guess, when you count Ericus. It's like, I need more context. I need more gravitas behind why this exists in the way that it does. It begs explanation in a way that like the other tutorial worlds in the games don't really. But Land of Departure has always been like this kind of like nothing question mark to me. So I love that.
Child of Destiny, then it would make sense to take drastic measures in order to hide him from darkness and protect the world from it. I guess we'll see in Missing Link. What's really curious to me is that the player doesn't die in the real world. They perish in the cable tunnel leading to Game Central Station, a world described of not being our own. So why were they reincarnated in Gothic Scala? After being defeated, it withers, our bond has been
Hey, that's
severed.
Sonny's video.
Is
Is he playing Rayman music in this? I'm just
away
realizing.
as it ominously leaves us with a very peculiar quote. I'll see
Yo, Sonny, bro. You got that Land of the Living Dead in there?
you in another dream.
That's sick.
And with the context we have now, they might be talking about the player's next life. It makes sense. I'm placing my chips in Dark Chirithy's appearance in Missing Link. When Strelitzia died, she never merged with her Chirithy or dissolved into a new heart. Laurium retains those Kyrie-esque visions of her, yet when Luxu retrieves her data and sends off the true Dandelion with the pod, there she is, appearing in the distant future to Sora. In Melody of Memory, Apprentice Xehanort warns that there is a chance using the lifeboat may leave you somewhere on the other side. There is one pod left in the data world. The real Ark is destroyed. Knowing this, a version of Brain wakes up in Gothic Scala. The Master warns the darkness of an inconceivable world, a world of realized imagination, a world of fiction. The darkness immediately connects the dots, to the data world. Data Daybreak Town is different, they said. It's not like other worlds. It was designed to trap the darkness. It will fall into sleep mode. In the Kingdom Hearts 3 box art, Nomura shares a secret that only he knows. The protuberances on the corners of the clock tower are actually black-robed figures.
Oh, I never knew that. That's fun. Yo,
Please tell me why the mysterious, foreboding narrator, the one talking about a world of dreams and distortion, the one prompting us to leave this world for another, if this is not the ending we desired, the voice of the unwritten era, because it was not conceived by the master, confirmed, no, deciphered to be. Something happened in that basement. The two brains, the two sides, they do not fit together. This is a world of dreams and distortion. The night you awoke in this world, the stars shone contorted in the pitch black sky. I know, I'm implying a lot. So if Ericus's grandfather, assumed to be Brain, went missing, where is he? Why would Ericus be in this version of Scala? If Brain is the apprentice of Luxu, the first heir to No Name, then who is this in the black coat placing their hand over this dull gazing eye? Why would this generation's wielder of No Name be wearing a black coat? It can't be Luxu, obviously. He'd already be well integrated into society at this point, let alone in possession of No Name, and, well, if this is unreality, Luxu would not.
No,
be
yeah,
here.
I'm a little lost.
Remember, Luxu.
Once we got to the figures on the box art, I wasn't sure where we were going with that, so I'm not sure if I'm just not keeping up.
Cannot exist in conjunction with No Name, because if that were to be the case, the master could be here. So why is No Name here? Who else would have a black coat and No Name? Okay, right. If this is Brain, he has possession of No Name. He's wearing the black coat, and look, I won't lie, if he is indeed Ericus's grandfather, Data Brain doesn't sit all too well with me, to be honest. I also don't like the idea of Data Brain being Luxu's apprentice.
Me
If
neither,
one
but-
is a Data backup,
Good, I
I'd
think
have
that
to put
sucks.
my money on this one. So, falling in line with Luxu's report of training a worthy apprentice, could it be possible the real Brain stayed behind with Luxu, only to travel to unreality when the time was right? Perhaps using the box. Time traveling alternatively does include having a version of you at the destination, like with young Xehanort. So could the same thing be happening here? If the dilapidated remains of Daybreak Town laid the foundation of our Scala at Kylum, could this gothic Scala at Kylum be the future of Data Daybreak Town? Inhabit.
Oh, data. I don't want it to be Sonny, but if it must.
by
if it helps the theory.
Data backups, descendants of people that
It's cool, I
aren't real.
guess.
Sounds too bonkers? Okay. I think this person also has an awfully high chance of being young Xehanort, specifically after he obtains No Name. It's more than suspected he has an amount of knowledge of unreality, so going off of the
Well, yeah, we know he like travels a bunch. I don't know if he's only referring to what he does in Dark Road when he talks to the Master in Remind, or if maybe he's going to fucking Data Gothic Daybreak Town. Data Gothic Scala Kylum. All these fucking
belief this is an other Scala.
adjectives.
He could follow his rules of time travel since a version of him does exist here. Toddler Xehanort did mention that he wants to meet his mother. So Xehanort actually being born on the other side could be his link to unreality. Even beyond Missing Link, Quadratum, as depicted in Kingdom Hearts 4, is
And we know
riddled
fucking some version of Xehanort's going to show up in 4, in Quadratum, annoyingly. So there's more connective tissue with the being born in unreality. Or
Scala
the other side.
text and looking closely, sleep-related advertisement. Dream Eater.
No.
Fabula books. I mean, come on. However, there are some very glaring holes in this line of thinking. Like, let's just say that this is unreality. Why is Ephemus statue here? If he stayed behind in the real world and rebuilt it, then why would his
why would it
statue
be in
be
Day-to-Day Breakdown?
in quote-unquote unreality?
Data Skull.
So yeah, there's that. This probably isn't unreality, but where did everyone go? Who is Sigurd speaking to about another world? Does this have something to...
Wait. I mean, Missing Link is probably gonna... Missing Link is in this gothic Scala. I would assume that it is unreality, right? Because, like, we're meshing the worlds. Like, we're doing this GPS bullshit. Our world meshing with KH. Like, you would think that that's prime time spot for unreality business, right? Unless that's obvious or I'm missing something there. I would think that, like, that would lend toward the idea of the gothic Scala being data or being in unreality, because that's the astral plane. Is that confirmed? I don't know. Like, I don't even understand fully. I haven't, like, done the deep dive on the trailer. But you would think, like, the astral plane, which seems to link reality and unreality, Scala itself might not be. Okay. Well, yeah, because these fucking mobile games always do some shit. Like, the astral plane is just the 2023 version of the light projections from the Book of Prophecies, which I hate.
To do with unlocking game central.
You have to have some reason to be able to go to all these different places and not have it impact things in an important way. So you have to invent this sort of astral plane nonsense or the Book of Prophecies nonsense. So disregard all of that, because you can just astral plane a motherfucker.
Station. Why is it unwritten? The Master said there was something interesting he could see in Darkness's future. A world he couldn't even conceive. Is this why this era is unwritten? Or maybe someone has tampered with his plans from behind the scenes. Fate.
It was me. That's why my haircut was on the desk. I did it. Because I was in there
really.
fucking with things. Spoilers. Yo, he's back! Give him to me. Sorry. Oh no, he's in the ending of Union Cross. The White Void. It's just him and the gears now.
Hello.
Oh, spooky. Axel's in here? Wow. It's Sigurd Chirity. Or is that supposed to be Sonny Novus? Is that the avatar for Sonny? Self-insert. The other Chirities? It's a good question. Because, yeah, we know Elrena had a Chirity, as did, I would assume, a bunch of the other people that time traveled. I don't know where they went. Because, like, the players, like, they go to sleep at the end of Union Cross, or they turn into Dream Eaters. Maybe they just turned into Dream Eaters. Although they didn't die, Elrena and Lorium and all of them, so, I don't know. I'm not sure. Who are you? Oh, you could recycle the Sora line from KH1. They do that for the Unknown Fate. Ah! He's so cute. I want that for my next birthday, patrons. Take notes. I want the Sigurd Chirity plushie that doesn't exist. I want one. Make it. Make it. That's my demand. Lovely weather. Breezy, eh? To quote Jack Sparrow. Quit messing around. Good night, Vodka. You look a lot like him. You could have recycled dialogue from all over for this. cut corners. At first I was afraid. I was petrified. This is beautiful, by the way. I know we're like doing bits, but this is lovely. I feel like my ego is dying. I'm having an ego death. I'm like lying on the floor with an Abstabluke. I don't know yet either, Keynote. I'm mostly just enjoying the ride and having a conversation about what we're seeing. It might not be one theory being posited. It might just be sort of an exploration of a bunch of different things. But, you know, I'm just, that's my idea of it so far. I don't want to, you know, put words in Sonny's mouth. I don't know. Because the Cheerthies have not at all been discussed in the actual, like, Sonny narration parts. This is all, this is all, like, invented. So I'm not quite sure if or how it ties into what we've had discussed already. Also, I love Brain's purse. Brain's Cheerthies purse, by the way. It's cute. Is this more David music? I could tell because it was really good. That's how I know if it's David or not. If it's bad, I know that's not David. If it's good, I'm like, oh, it's probably David Russell. Nice. No! He's falling! He's gonna do his own dive to the heart. What's up, Nachos? What the fuck is up? He's eepy. Cheerthi's just eepy. He's fine. It's very pretty. Sorry. That he owes me $5. He owes me 5 money. Besaid Island. Besaid Island, that's so fun. I love Besaid. Brain's cheerothy is so nice. Ours is a bitch all the time. All the time, 100% of the time. Would never say something like, he's my bestest friend. My cheerothy actually spat on my shoes every time I booted up Union Cross, so I don't know how Brain got such a more docile breed. Mine was a dick. So, good for Brain, I guess. Mine didn't give a shit what happened to me. I didn't log in for 2 years, and my cheerothy was like, good, fuck him, hope he's dead, you know? This one's like, you know, give my last words to my bestest friends. I guess I didn't train mine well, yeah. True. I never let my cheerothy dress up. That's probably why. That's true. I made my cheerothy walk around like naked with a purse, I guess. So, I guess I'm a bad owner / friend. It all makes sense now. I guess I sort of came to my own conclusions with my own theories now. Now I know why my cheerothy was such an asshole. This all thanks to the Sonny Novus video. Learn something about yourself as well. Yeah. Have we ever like discussed or talked about how like there's a character named Brain and that maybe lies in counter to all of like the heart talk in these games? There's got to be something to that, right? Like, you know, you're always discussing whether or not you're going to go with your brain or your heart. Like they lie in direct opposition to each other in a way. Not really something that's being explored here. I just had that random thought. I'm sure it's been discussed somewhere, but I feel like I've never thought about that at all. I don't have the brain power to make a video about that. I just think that there's got to be some intentionality there. At least I would hope so. I love you too, pal. Huh? And Mickey Mouse actually jumped into Brain. That's why he sounds like that. Oh, cute. Yo, I actually kind of like this really beloved cover. Not cover, but rendition of it. I always thought the Union Cross one was fun. It's better than the Recom one, right? Hey! Well done, Sonny. Months and months paid off. Hey! Oh! It's me. Cool. Well, I'm glad the project was useful. Smell. Shout out to Puro, sorry. Sorry if I butchered that. Listen to Silent Scatterbrain, Dearly Beloved Brain Fog, music by David Russell, those are the songs. Good job, David, you already knew. Other tracks. There's Silent Hill in there. There's me again. Lots of legends on here. Wow. Thanks, Sonny. Thanks for making a fucking banger. Again, a genre-transcending video. And check out Sonny on Patreon, Ko-fi. Whew. What a monster. What a behemoth. That was rad. Post-credits? Do we have post-credits scene? Until next time, it should say Brains Charity will return in Quadratum. Or something. Give us hope. Nominate? Nominate? What were you doing? What was Nominate doing? Sonny, what do you know? What do you know, Sonny? Let's slow this down. Can I slow this down? I feel like we had some... Okay, no, I thought maybe there were some hidden subliminals in there. Whew. Well, that was awesome. As I've made that completely evident and apparent as I've watched this, I've enjoyed it thoroughly. I love the presentation. That was my biggest takeaway is like how well produced this is. I just love the visual aspects of this. Tons of fun little details and quirks that I would not have picked up on without watching something like this. I guess so. I'm wondering about, so like we're trying to, the namesake of the video, the basement incident. Are we saying, like, is this part of the theory, I guess is what I'm saying? Like all the Cheer the Animated stuff, like is that just window dressing, or is that like baked into the theory? Like, are we saying that, like, are we trying to explain like how the hat ends up as the medium? Is that what this is all doing here? I guess that's the main part that I'm a little hazy on. But again, this video is so Union Cross centric that I knew that I would definitely, that's my weak spot. So I feel bad that there's a couple of things that I'm maybe not taking away perfectly. Yeah, implying that Sigurd has a part in this, I would say so. Because that would be, the Sigurd Chirthi. But yeah, I wasn't under the impression that like Sonny was like basing all of this animated stuff off of like any information that we have yet. But it's like really fun and cute, so I'm fine with it. I had a blast watching all of the handcrafted Daybreak Town pieces. Yeah, I think that's where I am too. Like, something certainly happened in the basement. I'm not sure if it's a conclusion that I was supposed to come to on my own, or if the implication is that all this Chirthi stuff is like the idea. Obviously, like, we wouldn't know, like, oh, the elevator broke and Brains Chirthi like succumbed to injuries and met with Sigurd's Chirthi, but I think that's like a fun way to fill it in if that's what's being implied. Yeah, I think the artfulness may have been at the expense of my my pea-brained ability to understand, but like I had a hell of a ride just like looking at all of the different points that Sonny made. It's just so well done, so well crafted. It is gourmet. It is absolutely gourmet. Well worth the wait and well worth all of the work that Sonny put into it. What did you say, Buffoon? There was the March Caprice. Oh, is that the implication that Sonny's gonna do something for March Caprice? Maybe that's what it was. Not, it's like a nominate video until next time. Let's just see that again. If there was a... Okay, thank you. Sonny is here. Well, Sonny, if you've been here, I don't know if you just popped in or what, but thank you so much for making this and for letting me react to it. And everyone, please go check out Sonny Novus. I'll give the full link in just a second before I see what the fuck he's cooking here, or after I see what he's cooking. I'm going 0.5 right now. Just give me a sec. So there's Nominee. Was that March Caprice for like a frame? The new logo? I still couldn't tell. Okay, so the Chirthi stuff and the theory stuff have no correlation. Okay, gotcha. Oh, it's still really cool. Yeah, let me, as much as I would love to watch The Evolution of Magic by Regular Pat, here is the video, so please, again, go check it out on your own. Okay, good, because that's what I thought. I didn't think that you were, like, building up to, like, one, like, here is the thesis statement, Because to me, it was just like, let's look at all this stuff, let's talk about it, and that's really the most fun parts of these things. I think when you like box yourself into a theory or like a definitive statement about something, like it can be, you're setting yourself up and the viewers up for disappointment in a way. So I'm glad that this was a little more amorphous in the journey and not so much about like, here is the point. So excellent stuff. Yeah, I figured I was gonna loop back around to that. It appears that Sonny is teasing the next video will be nominee centric and possibly releasing in March. So how about that? No, as much. Yeah, I was kidding. We're not watching the Evolution of Magic. I've watched that plenty in the past month. So you want to watch that, you go to regular Pat. But I highly encourage you go to Sonny Novus on YouTube. Give this a like. Give this another review. And give Sonny a subscribe if you haven't yet. Whew. And again, everybody who pitched in on this, amazing work. David, obviously. Great music. Just so well edited, all of it. All right. Well, folks, I had a blast watching this with you. A good old watch party. We haven't done that since, like, I feel like we watched something. This was like 2 years ago last time we just, like, sat and watched something. So it was fun. Thank you for this, Sonny. Seriously, this is a high watermark for I almost said content, but like I hate the C word, so it's a project. It's a piece, not just content to me. I think it's so beautiful. We did watch the Missing Link trailer, that's true, but I meant like a big like video, cinema. Yeah. Okay. Well, I will be back Sunday at 6. We'll be playing Majora's Mask. Hopefully, I won't be so eepy like Brains Cheer at Thee. I'll be awake and able to play for more than an hour and a half. We'll be going to the 3rd dungeon, I believe. I know Majora's Mask has been very like scattershot with its consistency. So if you're into that, that'll be Sunday at 6. Normal KH2, we're going to the Underworld Tuesday at 6. And more of that on Thursday, a week from today. So that's the schedule. I don't believe I updated it in the outro, so I'll try to do that live in the moment. But thank you all again so much for joining me. You know where to find me. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Discord. I'm on Patreon. And we'll be back Sunday at 6, Tuesday at 6, okay? Until then, be safe, be kind, be courteous, take it easy, and shout out again to Sonny Novus. Go check him out. All right, bye!
Goodbye.
PJ!